So you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce Jim, and I have a cheat note so I don't miss any of his accomplishments. So in 2010, that's when Jim joined Keller Williams, the #1 real estate company in the world, right? The best out there. And he was a top producing agent for 3 years. In 2013, he became the launching team leader at Keller Williams Whittier and built the market center to the #1 office in the entire area. In 2017, he took on the project of relaunching KW Carlsbad and successfully propelled it to the top quartile in the region. Jim's third and most recent market center is KW Big Bear, Lake Arrowhead. In 2020, Jim became the regional director of the California Inland Empire region, which now we all currently rank top 10 nationwide for KW regional growth. So he has 2 amazing kids, Cassidy and Brady, right? So Cassidy is University of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Brady is overseas, right?
He's in Berlin right now.
Yeah. Wow. So you guys, he's a big deal. Sophia's boss in the house. I'm just kidding. Let's give him a big KW Lakes welcome.
All right. Oh, I'm tethered. I'm like on a leash. You can't go anywhere. All right.
With revenue, okay?
I like it. I like it. Well, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. It's so great to work with Sophia and Jay and your whole team, and beautiful market center. It's really, yeah, it's fantastic. And what a great turnout. Thanks for coming out. Great introduction. Thank you, Jay. Everybody just lower your expectations and everything will be fine. You know, Sophia asked me to come and talk with you, and we talked about a bunch of different things. And I had prepared to talk to you guys about what I call the secret 5. And then what was on the little email that went out was the 7 levels of communication, which is a little different, and we can get into that. But you guys, we need to talk about the secret 5 because that's going to get you into production. Okay. That's what you want to do, right? So literally part of what I want to talk to you about today, I had multiple agents in the Whittier office, like 1.5 years into the business, like just where's my next deal coming from? I closed one, I don't have another one coming. I don't have a pipeline, whatever. And we talked about the third thing that I want to talk to you about today. I'm so passionate about this because if you nail this, you will be an unstoppable force in real estate. And I'm all about KISS, keep it simple. Thank you. Right? So let's just do like the right simple things really well, and let's have fun doing it. Right? Because there's 2 things about your real estate career that I can guarantee you. And the first one is your business will grow, and Sophia's going to know this. It's a Jim Rohn or a Ziegler. Your business will grow to the exact extent that when people, yes, invest in yourself, but when people think about real estate, they think about you. Really, that's your job, is that when they think about real estate, they got to think about you. But the second thing is, you got to be likable. Because if they think about real estate and then they think about you and they're like, well, nah, right? That doesn't do you any good. So you have to be likable. That's the superpower of the real estate agent. I mean, think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Your job is you have the opportunity to make an uncapped amount of income. And what you sell already exists out there. You don't have to warehouse it or inventory it or buy it. It's just out there. You got to know it. I mean, imagine owning a shoe store and people walked in and wanted to buy some shoes and you don't know where the Nikes are or the Adidases are or where the high heels are. So your job is to go know your inventory. That's going to make you more likable when you know your inventory. Okay, so, and you're going to see the economic model is the first 5 of these. That's great that you have it right there. How many of you guys have the MREA book? How many of you guys have opened the MREA book? How many of you guys have finished the MREA book? How many of you have read it more than once? Okay, there are 3 books that if you just keep rereading these 3, especially for leadership, it's MREA, Shift, and the One Thing. And then go back, MREA, Shift, the One Thing. Every answer and presentation and every situation you run into in real estate is in those 3 books. So the MREA has 4 models. And the agents that are selling 100 homes and 400 homes and they're making 2 million and they're netting 1 million, those guys know these 4 models, right? Earlobe, LOBE, those are the 4 models. Now, earlobe is not in the book. That's my little cheat for knowing the models, right? There's a lead gen model, an organizational model, a budget model, and the E in earlobe is the economic model. So if you're like, look, and if you're in that $1 million category, you still need to know the economic model. But if you want to first get to the 200 and then the 400 and then the million, and you could only pick one model to really know, it's the economic model. And here's what it is. This is like a big funnel, right? I'm going to put a $sign right here. Give me a round, easy number to work with that one good deal means to you in dollar amount. 10,000. Okay. So COE, 10,000 if you close escrow. Does every escrow close? No. But it's better than like 2 to 1. It's not like 50% fallout, probably 90% fallout, maybe 80 now because appraisals are starting to be more of a problem. But if you want to guarantee that you close an escrow next month, it would be good to open 2, right? Because then you know one's closing. We want to have a backup. So if I'm going to have at the bottom of my funnel $10,000 from one close of escrow, I have to have 2 open escrows. Let me try the blue one. whatever you got. And let me make sure I don't write on here with like a permanent one. But so you're going to need 2 escrows. But you can't just like go out and open escrow. That'd be cool, right? Like, all right, I'm done with lunch at the lakes and I listened to Jim and I'm going to go open an escrow. No, you have to have somebody under contract, right? So if you put 2 people, there we go, under contract, they're going to go into escrow. Bear with me here, okay? Now let's just talk about this on the buy side because your economic model is going to have for buyers and sellers. Let's talk about buyers. How many buyers do you need to be out showing property with so that one of them can write a contract this week? It's not one, because they might, you know this, right? Because that buyer might go to the next week. And they might go to the next week, right? That's a whole nother presentation called Win the Buyer, of how that doesn't take too long. And we can do that one later. But I think you need to be working with, let's say 4 active buyers so that you can get a contract at any one time. And we're going to get there. That you have right now in your pipeline, you've got 4 qualified, ready to go. Okay, so 4, we're going to say qualified and active buyers. Now, how many buyers do you need to meet with that they say, hey, we're thinking about selling and buying, or we're thinking about buying, that would then get qualified and work with you? It's not everyone you talk to, right? We're doing economic model in reverse because it makes more sense this way. So I don't know, what do you think? Open house visits, referrals from friends, 3 or 4 buyer leads. So there's 1 qualified active buyer. Okay, so now for that, you need 4 of those. We're going to call these leads, buyer leads, so that we turn into that. So let me update my math a little bit. This is 1 closed escrow. So it's going to take 2 to get there, which means we need 4 to get the 2, so that's actually 8. And then we need 4 to get the 8, so that's 32. Okay. Now, buyer leads. What's your best source for buyer leads? Open house, your sphere of influence, the stuff you do on command, your smart plans, your follow-up. There's different lead systems. But if this is you going out and doing open houses or geographic farming or working your sphere, how many people do you need to talk to get 1 buyer lead? Yeah, yeah, probably. Let's say if you talked to, they're actually going to have a conversation with you, not like, oh, thank you for your flyer and close the door, but like, oh yeah, I might know somebody. Let's say you talk to 20 people to get 1 buyer lead, okay, that are actively engaged. Well, when you're door knocking or you're calling your sphere or you're doing an open house, how many attempted conversations to get into a conversation? 100. Right? I mean, I think if someone's there in your, let's say 5 people walk through your open house and they're not with agents. One of them, I think, you're going to be like, okay, we can have a conversation. So I'm going to say times 5. So there's our 100 number. Now, don't get scared by that because I promise this is going to come back to 5. How many days a month do you think you work? 32? More than there are? I want you to work a solid 20 days a month to make sure you always have an escrow and the inspection and the appraisal and the talking to the lender. That's extra. This is 20 days to get this client into escrow every month. Who in this room is cool with 10,000 times 12? Very good? Because once you do that, you can now do 20,000 times 12. You just got to know the formula. And here's the formula. You need to talk to 100 people a month. I'm going to tell you how to talk to them, but you got to talk to 100 people a month. If you want to make enough money where you never have to go get a job and work for somebody else, that's my bit. I'm bad at that. I can't work for anybody. This has to work because I don't want to go work for anybody else, right? So I need to talk to 100 people a month. And if I work 20 days, there's the 5 people a day. Your job after this meeting today is to have 5 real estate conversations every day. I was at a family reunion 3 years ago in New Orleans. We're at our big market center dinner, 20 people. And someone sitting next to me says, Jim, what's this LP Mama script I heard about? I said, let me show you. The waitress comes over and I start talking to her, LP Mama. After 5 minutes, I had a referral. She's a buyer. I gave it to another New Orleans realtor that was at the convention. And I got a referral fee like 45, 50 days later. Uber. I will LP Mama my Uber driver. I will LP Mama every time I go somewhere. You need to go LP Mama 5 people 5 times. Okay, so LP Mama is the 3rd thing we're going to talk about. I'm going to tease you with that. So the first thing is the economic model. You now know the MREA economic model. Contacts, leads, active, contract, open escrow, close escrow. It's not 1-to-1. It's 5 a day to get 1 a month. Economic model. If you want to do 10 a day, go for 10 a day. It's kind of addictive. Mm-hmm. You guys ever sit down to make like your prospecting phone calls? You know what the hardest phone call to make is? First one. And then you've made like 15 or 20. You're like, oh, this is kind of cool. I don't care anymore that they're hanging up on me. And Call him back. Did you hang up on me? Now, do you ever call and they don't pick up? Yeah. Call them 3 times in a row. You know that?
We call it triple.
They don't get mad. They don't get mad. On that 3rd call, they're like, hello. You're like, hey, this is Bob from Keller Williams Lakes. Oh, you're like, oh, I'm sorry. And if they get mad, you're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know why it rang 3 times. Something must be weird. But the reason you don't do that is you think they're going to get mad, but they're not. They don't get mad. They apologize for not picking up. Now, they may or may not want to talk to you about real estate because you're going to LP mama them and to see where that goes. Okay, we'll come back to that. So economic model number 1. You guys got it? Could you guys teach the economic model? Yeah, you can. Yeah. You got it now. Okay. Number 2, we are not going to do a GPS, but do you guys know what a GPS is? 135. 135? One goal, 3 priorities, 5 strategies. It's your business plan. It's your calendar. So you need to know what you're doing Tuesday at 11 p.m. and Friday at 2 p.m.
Can you repeat that? Right? What the 135 was again?
1 goal, 3 priorities, and 5 strategies. In fact, let's do a real quick outline of that. So let's say that we're going to go 10 grand and we want to close 12 deals. So my goal is 120,000 net after I paid my royalty and all that stuff. This is a net. No, I want to net that number. I don't have to go get a job if I can net that number, and then next year I'm going to go 240. Okay, so that's my goal or my one thing. Now I need 3 priorities. And you said sphere is a great way to find people, right? So priority 1, I'll put SOI for sphere of influence. And let's say open houses is another thing I'm going to do. That's my 2nd priority. And let's say my third priority is going to be geographic farming. It could be events. It could be a networking group. It could be a leads program that you're in, but you have 3 priorities. Have you guys ever seen those pieces of paper that say the 99 ways to get a real estate deal? Throw that thing in the shredder. That's the worst thing for you. Because what you'll do is you'll try number 1 for a day, and then you'll go to number 4, and then you'll go to number 26, and you're hopping all around. You only need to focus on 3 things. Your week will fill up. Now, for your sphere of influence, this is where the 5 comes in, or the S. These are the strategies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you need 5 things you're going to do for your sphere of influence. One of those might be quarterly events. One of those might be birthday and anniversary cards. One of those 5 things might be calling through them every quarter and then, inviting them to an event or just doing a care call, right? So anyways, that's a GPS, and that shows up on your calendar. I'm going to give you 5 rules for a GPS. And then you guys on a different day can come in and mastermind and build your GPS, right? Yeah, this is strategy, this is priority, and that's goal. So 1, 3, 5 and GPS, exact same thing.
Is that 5 strategies for each of the priorities?
Yeah, you have 15 things you're doing. Now, when I tell you the 5 rules for doing this, you're going to go, holy cow, I have to do 15 things every week. I don't have time to do anything else. That's fine. Because if you do this, you're going to have your 5 conversations a day and you're going to make money. KISS, we're going to keep it simple. Okay? Okay, here are the rules for your GPS. Rule number 1, prospecting, not marketing. This is a prospecting plan. Prospecting does not cost you money. It is active. Marketing could be a billboard on the 15 free, which is great. If you want to spend the money, put up a billboard, do a radio ad, mail out color cards. There's nothing wrong with that. You're going to spend a lot of money. Better measure your ROI. but this is not a marketing plan. I don't want to see a GPS that says I'm going to send postcards and do a radio ad and billboard and then wait for my phone to ring. Right? That's not active and it costs money. This is prospecting is I'm going to go geographically farm. Yeah, I got to have a postcard or a flyer, but I'm going to go actively seek people. Open house, kind of passive, but we're going to do an active open house. Circle prospecting, inviting the neighbors, social media announcements, knowing how to talk to people when they come in. And your sphere of influence, don't wait for the phone to ring. I had talked to top producers frequently, like Sophia, and I say, well, tell me about your last referral. Like, oh yeah, I just got a referral from da da da. Well, how did that referral come in? Did they just call you, or were you calling them? And 90% of the time, like, oh, they just called me. Like, well, how many referrals would you have if you were calling your people first? Right? Let me motivate you to talk to your sphere of influence. Who in this room has had a friend do a deal with another realtor? Okay, here's the hard thing. Those are just the ones you know about. Talk to your people. Okay, so a GPS is a prospecting plan. Number 2, everything on the GPS has a number. Rule number 2, everything has a number. So if one of your priorities is going to be open house, how many per month? It's got to have a number. If you're going to talk to your sphere, how frequently are you going to talk to everybody? Put a number on everything. We can't measure it if there's not a number. Got it? Rule number 3, I love this one. Counterbalance. Has anybody in here heard that you should live a balanced life? You know, it's like a cliche, right? No such thing. This is in the one thing. Jay's read the one thing. The way for you to be effective and productive at work and not go crazy at home is to fall in love with this thing called counterbalance, which means that when you're at work, you work, and when you're at home, you're home. And you stop trying to do both things at once. Right? So you're going to swing into, hey, I'm in work mode. I'm geographic farming. I'm here for 2 hours. Boom. I'm going to coach kids soccer. I'm making dinner. I'm not going to answer the phone for 2 hours. That's fine. Boom, I swing back over here. So just decide what you're going to do. When you make your GPS and you put it in your calendar, put in all your personal stuff first. Right? And then you're going to fill in these 15 strategies. And I guarantee you're like, holy cow, my week is full. But this is a full-time job. You know what's cool about real estate? You're your own boss. You know the worst thing about real estate? You're your own boss. You are way too nice on yourself.
You give yourself too many days off.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so counterbalance. Okay, and that's in the one thing. Rule number 4, time block realistically. I bet there's many realtors in this room who've made up a calendar and you said, I am going to call my SOI every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 to 12. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 3 hours. You are not going to sit on the phone for 3 hours. And when you time block unrealistically, you give yourself permission not to do it. But it looks good on paper. So let's just throw that out. Let's just be real. Here is your new time block prospecting. It's called 45, 10, 45. Whatever you're going to do, you do it for 45 minutes in a counterbalanced way so you're not interrupted. Then you do something else for 10 minutes. Then you go do another 45 minutes. And then if you want to repeat that, that's your only chance at doing 3 hours of prospecting. But that's 100 minutes. That will be the most contact you make with people if you just go 45, 10, 45. If you can do that 5 days a week, you will have more business than you can handle. As a solo agent, I promise. If you can do it 4 days a week, you'll be fine. Do it at least 3. Okay, so time block realistically 45, 10, 45. and then move on to something else, because like I said, your calendar is going to be full. Okay, here's the hardest one. Rule number 5. It's called don't think about it twice. This is what I mean by that. When we sit down to make our calendar, we engage like our active planning, creative brain, and we make a really good calendar. And maybe some of the things are in blue and some of the things are in yellow and they're in red. And man, that calendar looks awesome. And it says that a Monday from 11 to 1, before I go to lunch, I'm going to do my 45-10-45 with a section of my SOI. And you know what happens at 10:55? I decide again. I thought about it twice. I'm like, oh, well, there's that title presentation about how to read a prelim, and maybe I'll go to that. Or, oh, you know what? It's better if I call people in the afternoon because 11's not a good. You already thought about it and decided when you made your calendar. You have to turn your brain off. Now, you will never get to a point where the thought comes up of, oh, I shouldn't do this. That's always going to happen. But if you can get to the point where you hear that and say, oh, you silly, crazy person, just keep on moving and ignore it and then just do it. And like we said a minute ago, the first phone call is the hard, and just make the first one, you will have all the business you need. You guys got all 5 rules? Yeah. That will change your business. It's that simple. And it's fun. Okay, so we got 5 people a day, and we got 5 rules for your business plan. Okay, now you guys ready for the magic LP Mama script? This works. And we, do you have it? Yes. Oh, you guys all have handouts then? Yes. Oh, awesome. Okay, so I won't even write it up here. It's on the handout. Oh, yeah, pass those out. You can see we stole it from KW El Paso. Jay will make you one that says KW the Lakes. I think you need some more over here, Jay, if you got them. I see one right there in the corner. Okay, they're coming up. So, have you guys practiced scripts that's in a script book like this thick? And it wants you like to call somebody and talk to them like a whole paragraph before they get to say anything, right? And then you think, oh my gosh, if I change one word in this paragraph, it's not going to work. And if I just read this perfectly, it's going to work. And then you read it perfectly and you sound like a robot and then they're not there anymore, right? So LP Mama is a script that's not a script. LP Mama only works if it's you. Because LP Mama is a series of questions. That's why we have 1 mouth and 2 ears. You should be asking questions and listening more than you're talking. People don't want to be, especially now. Like, I mean, I can't think of anybody who's like, oh my gosh, my realtor, I love them. They overcame every objection I had and I'm never right. Oh my gosh, that's the realtor for me. No, it's got to be about them. Okay, so here's LP Mama. Location. Go start a location conversation. You're going to do this today when you leave here. Everyone is going to have at least one LP Mama conversations, and not with each other in this room. Nobody in here is going to buy a house from you or list with you. Okay, but start a location conversation. I'm in the Uber. Hey, how long have you lived in this city? It's a location conversation, right? When you walk into like a Nordstrom or a Macy's and the salesperson rushes up when you're like 1 step in the door, hey, can I help you? I'm like, no. Now I need help, but not right now. Like, I'll let you know. I just need to when I can find you. So hey, do you know anybody who wants to buy or sell? Will you use me as your realtor? Like, that's the same, like, no. Are you working with the realtor? Yes. No, I'm not, but I'm telling you yes, because just go away. Okay, so LP Mama is about them. Geographic farming. What do you love about the neighborhood? How long have you lived here? Right? I'm taking a survey for something. Geographic farming conversation. Sphere of influence. Here is a script. We're still on L for LP Mama. We're going to stay here for a while. So I want you guys to like have this script down and boom, go. Lake Elsinore and this whole area is going to be like, holy cow, everyone's asking me about location. What's going on? You guys are going to like paint the town red with this. My little sidebar, it's gone. Okay, LP Mama. What else could you do maybe in an open house to ask a location question? Do you live here? Do you live in the area?
Where are you originally from?
Yep.
Why are you visiting this area?
There you go. Why this house? Is this the exact neighborhood you're looking for? Or on the phone, they call about a property, sign call. It's just a location question. And now that might last for 15 seconds, or it'll go for 5 or 6 minutes. That's why it's not a script. It's a conversation guide. But if you talk to them about location, well, why this neighborhood? Well, it's schools or it's job or it's whatever. Then just stay right there. Dig deeper. Build rapport. Remember, you got to be likable. Okay? So let's just talk location. Now, some people, you'll run out of time, but you had a location conversation, right? Hopefully you got contact information. We'll talk about that because that's the last A on here. But we'll just talk location. And then when you're done with that, I am going to take the conversation to price. Oh, so you want to move to Colorado, to Aurora, Colorado to be by the grandkids. That's cool. What do you think a house in Aurora costs? That's a price question. What do you think your home is worth? That's a price question. What do you think you'd have to pay for that house? And if they know the answer, that's fine. And if they don't know the answer, that's also fine. Back on location. If they want to buy in Lake Elsinore, that's fine. If they want to buy in Corona, you can help them there. If they want to buy in Sacramento, you can refer it. If they want to buy in Miami, you can refer it. All the answers are good. There's no wrong answer. Okay, and if they're way off on price, that's fine. You can talk about that. Now, you got to know your store. You got to know your inventory. So if you ask them a price question and they know, and you can't talk with them on that level, you're not building rapport, which is why you got to know your inventory. You got to know the market. And then same thing. You might talk about price for 15 seconds. You could talk about it for 6 minutes. It's all good. So LP, now we go Mama. M, motivation, right? Is that what your paper says? Oh, that's why I don't like the El Paso one. Does the second M say motivation? Okay, I put motivation at the top. Make it your own. I put motivation there. I say, well, if you could find a house, if you could find that house that you talked about with the big backyard for $725 in Corona, how soon would you move into it? That's a motivation question, right? Or how come you haven't already moved? What's holding you up? Right? Some sort of motivation question. But it's usually, if you could find that L at that P, how soon would you do it? Now, all of us would love for them to say, well, I'd like to write an offer tomorrow, be in escrow on Monday, right? That'd be great, no problem. But if they say 6 months, it's okay. You guys, you have a CRM, you have a database, you have a pipeline. Imagine if you had been having 5 LP Mama conversations for the last 6 months.
Wow.
Think about that. Do you think you would have multiple escrows right now?
Yes.
Right? So 6 months from now, imagine what's going to happen. That's it. Just put them in your pipeline. 6 months is fine. 9 months is fine. Year and a half is fine. If they say 9 months, they mean 4.5. You know that, right? Do not, when they say call me in 30 days, do not call them in 30 days.
14.
Call them in 14. 30 days, they're like in escrow already. You said 30 days. Well, you shouldn't have listened to me. Okay, so motivation, ask a motivation question. Again, all answers are okay. You're gonna be tempted to say, I wanna be your realtor, use me in the early parts of the conversation. Don't do it. Instead, say this, oh, I can help you with that, and then move to the next thing. Don't say use me as, I hate that phrase, you guys. Use me as your realtor. Like everything's gonna be fine. I have no value. Just bring me into your world and use me. No. I wanna get close enough to know what you need to do so that you're like, you need me, right? Anyways, oh, I can help you with that. What do you think a house would cost in Corona? Oh, I can help you with that. How soon would you want to move in if we found that location and price? Okay, LPM, now it says agent, right? Agency. Well, this is Texas too, right? So they probably have different. So if you Google LP Mama script, there'll be like 20 of them.
Yeah.
So then they're all a little bit different. How do you find out now if a lead is working with an agent? What do you guys say?
I say, how many offers have you submitted?
Bingo. You've heard me do this before.
No, it just worked for me.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, and if you want to say, are you working with an agent? That's fine if that works for you, right? But typically people, now it's about you, not about them. This whole LP Mama it's about them. It's their location, their price, their motivation. And so it's, well, how many offers have you written? 18. Well, I can help you with that. Because you can. And I've used this in open houses with people who have written multiple offers and they left that agent and they came over to me. Now they're not leaving a Keller Williams agent because I wouldn't do that. They're leaving a Coldwell Banker agent and coming to me.
Yeah.
And we're not going to write 18 offers. We're going to write one and it's going to get accepted. So another way to say it is, if you wanted to look at property tomorrow, who would you call? Or how are you getting into properties to view them? Oh, I just go on Redfin and schedule an appointment. Okay, I can help you with that. I can improve that. So don't solve it right now. Just drop the, I can help you with that. The whole LP Mama is about the final A. We'll get there. Okay, so motivation, agent, now it's mortgage. So how are you getting into properties? How many offers have you written? So now it's a mortgage conversation. Do you know how much of a down payment you're making? What interest rate did they give you? I mean, you could say, have you been pre-qualified? They don't entirely know what you mean by that unless they have been pre-qualified. So if someone's not been pre-qualified and you ask them that question, they'll say, oh yeah, I have a car loan through B of A. I'm sure they'll give me a home loan. Like that's what they're thinking. They go to the bank that they have their debit card to get their home loan. Happens all the time, right? So they don't know what you mean. So it's down payment, interest rate. Have you estimated your monthly payment? Did anybody on the loan side tell you about some programs that might be out there, some down payment assistance? Oh no, I can help you with that. Don't give away the farm. Just I can help you with that. I can help you with all this stuff. Talk mortgage. Now you might turn them over to your mortgage person. Or what a lot of people will do as soon as someone says, I haven't been pre-qualified. Oh, I've got the best loan officer. I'm going to have him call you and give me your number. I'm going to set that up. And then the loan officer calls them, they don't pick up, and then boom, it's gone. Okay, so I can help you with that. Just keep it in your back pocket. Think about how much information you have on this person now. Because you spent 4 or 5 minutes on location and 1 minute on price and motivation and agent. Now they might say they have an agent. Oh yeah, my mother-in-law's an agent. We bought 6 homes with her. That sucks, but that's also great because I'm now done spending, you're not going to turn around and walk away, but now you know. There are agents that have had buyers in their car driving around because the other agent's on vacation and they haven't dug far enough to know that. And they get taken advantage like that. So ask that agency question and qualify them or not. That's why you're going to have 5 of these a day, because not all 5 of those are going into escrow. It's a funnel. Okay. Okay. So we got the mortgage. And the last one is appointment, right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the real estate world, I love you all. And all of you are really good at LP mail. You guys do it now. You have no problem. Oh, let's talk location. Let's talk price. Let's talk, do you have a realtor? Have you been pre-qualified? Blah, blah, blah. You do it all the time. And then you say, I'm going to email you some properties. Let me know if there's anything you want to see. They don't need you to email them properties. There's 11 other realtors doing that. Plus they're looking at everything on Redfin, Zillow, and Realtor.com. They know about stuff you don't know about because you don't want to ask them for an appointment. So you hope that, oh my gosh, if I'm really nice and I email them properties, they'll call me when they want to see something. Maybe. But how much more business would you have if you did the full LP mama? And this is what it sounds like. Hey, Jay, I work different from most realtors. And what I find to get you the house you want in the time you want at the price you want, we need to sit down and go a little deeper into what you really want to do so we're successful. Can we meet at Starbucks tomorrow at 11? We can probably go see some properties at about 12 after that. Yeah. I want to spend 30, 45 minutes or an hour, as long as it takes, before we go see properties. I want to put the property showing after that, right? You want to come to my office? Do you want to go to Starbucks? We can meet at your house. Be careful with that, especially if you're a female, right? But you just meet with them and have a buyer wants a need sheet, something you're filling out. Okay, now let's get into that. Let's get into what you're looking for. We talked about LP Mama. Now on my buyer wants a need sheet at the appointment, I'm going to say, well, I'll come back and do the appointment script again. So you got that, right? Because that seems, at least for me, it works really well, or it has. On that buyer needs appointment, of course you want to know how many beds and baths, but I want you to work in 2 additional questions into your buyer's needs. Then we'll come back to the appointment script. Your first question, especially if it's a couple, and you ask them each the question separately, but in front of each other, is, well, let's do this. What is your name?
Elena.
Elena, what is your favorite room in a house and why?
I think my favorite room is the living room.
Oh yeah, why is that?
So I think that's where I relax and watch TV and just unwind.
So in this house that you want to move into, what's that living room look like?
It's open. It's a big living room, open. A lot of natural light.
Got it. And if your husband's sitting next to you, he may or may not know exactly what you're going to say.
Right.
And then I'm going to turn to him and say, well, what's your favorite room in the house and why? And he's going to talk. And that is the best first question on a buyer appointment because no one else is asking that. And when they find the house that's got the living room and for him, the backyard or the kitchen or whatever he wants, you remind them. Remember you told me what that living room looked like? And Mr. Elena, remember what you told me what the backyard looked like? I know the bedrooms are small. I know it's not a cul-de-sac, but this is it, right? Okay, so what's your favorite room in a house and why? And then the other question is, you can have as many wants as you want in this house we're looking for. What are some of your wants? 3 bedroom, 2 bath, walk-in closet in the master, bathroom connected to the master, big backyard, great, just boom, 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 boom. Okay, you can have as many wants as you want. You only get 3 or 4 needs. What are the 3 or 4 needs of all of these wants? Well, it's that master bathroom and walk-in. And it's the school district and it's the 3 bedroom. Okay. And you just leave it right there. And it's the same thing because when they don't want to buy the house because it's the driveway is too steep or they don't like the wallpaper, you're like, remember those 3 like needs? We got them all. They'll send you properties that they want to go see tomorrow on Saturday that are not anywhere close to what they want, but they just saw a picture on realtor.com. And you can come back to your extensive buyer needs and say, this doesn't have your living room, it's not in the district. Or if you know it's like not the area they want, like, why don't you go drive by it and let me know if you want to see it. It's when you want to kind of rule stuff out so they don't drag you around all day. Okay, so now let's come back to LP Mama. Each one of you needs a way to ask for the appointment. So again, what I would say is, hey, Jay, I work differently than most realtors, and I find that to get you the house you want, and the time you want, at the price you want, it's best if we sit down really focused for a little bit so that we can be successful in that. Can we meet at Starbucks tomorrow at 11? And then I can set up some showings after that, maybe for 12, 12:30. Perfect. How would you ask for an appointment like that? Sophia.
Come on, hey, students are. No, for me, I say something like, listen, I want to educate you in the home buying process from A to Z. They've heard me say this. They already know, I didn't know the script, but I'll say, I'd rather sit with you and ask you 5,000 questions and show you 5 homes instead of just asking you 5 questions and having to show you 5,000 homes. So let's sit down together, and I will promise that by the end of it, you're going to be one of the most informed buyers out in this market. You'll know exactly what lending is, timelines are, what to expect from a home inspection. So it'll be worth your time for me to sit down and have an educated conversation with you for 45 minutes.
Yep.
Tomorrow, good? 3 o'clock?
Yep, I'll meet you there.
I don't do Starbucks, I do Mexican food. Want to eat Mexican food?
Tacos, I'm in.
Chevy Chase.
Yeah, if you can learn to ask for the appointment, and some of them it's going to be a deal breaker. They don't want to meet with you because they want to work with 5 realtors, and you're one of them. They like you at the open house. You ask them good questions, and yeah, if you have any pocket listing in your office, can you send it to me? No.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, literally no. We do that. We do that for clients that have signed a loyalty agreement with our brokerage, because that wouldn't be fair to the other ones who have. So we do that, but we would have to have that successful appointment first.
But I think when you find out that the ones that don't want to meet with you, you're like, okay, well, I didn't allow them to waste my time.
There you go.
They're not wanting to they're not that interested where they want to sit and meet with them, right?
There you go.
Instead of spending hours.
If my mother-in-law is a realtor, or if I'm going to work with 6 realtors, man, just tell me now, because I'll go to the other people. Okay.
That's a good question. I say, do you have a preferred realtor? And they'll say, no. I'm like, oh, can I apply? I want to apply for that job. You know, like you could ask them if they have somebody. They'll tell you. My niece, my nephew, whoever.
So throughout the whole LP Mama, you never asked to be their realtor. It was just, I can help you. I can help you. I can help you. I'll tell you what, let's get together because I want to make you successful.
I love it.
So question, I don't know if you're gonna touch it or not, but I'm curious. Once you got that down, right? You got the appointment and all. Okay, so how do I know, right? Okay, he's not gonna go work with another agent. How do you have them signed up a buyer
broker agreement? Yeah.
Because when you look at it, it's almost, I can put myself in that position, like I'm getting married to this person. And so what would you use? How do you present that in a way that makes sense for them?
Have I sent that to you yet? Okay, I'll send it to you guys. You can send it out. Yeah, I feel like you want to answer that. It's a 1-page, non-legal, non-enforceable document. But let's think about it. The buyer broker agreement in zip forms is 14 pages long, right? And it's got boxes. They're not going to read it all. And here you went through this LP Mama and you bought them a latte and what's your favorite home? And then you go, boom, sign this. Yeah, you don't need to read it. Just sign this thing, right? Now, let's say that you did that and they signed the car form and they went and bought a house on an open house without you. That zip form, car form says that buyer, they can buy that home. And that agent gets the commission from the listing agent. That's a valid transaction. That car form says that that buyer owes you the commission. Not from that agent, but out of their pocket.
Wow.
Have you guys heard of a thing called social media and Yelp?
And Yelp reviews?
Can you imagine if you enforced that? If you were my buyer and you cheated on me and I like took you to small claims court for $9,000, man, I better hope I don't have a website or any press. You're gonna blow that up. It's not, yeah. You're not going to enforce it. Can anyone in here tell me a story of an agent that you know that's enforced the buyer broker agreement and gotten paid? I've asked that question 50 times in rooms bigger than this, and no one has a story. Yeah. So let's not worry about the car form, the zip form, but what can happen so that there's a loyalty? Let's at least have the conversation. So we go through the buyer needs and all that stuff we're about to see, and you got a one-page piece of paper that at the top says KW the Lakes, your name. It's like 4 or 5 paragraphs. I'll email it to you in Word. You guys can edit it. It's not a legal document. You're never going to enforce it. If they cheat on you, they cheat on you. But it basically says buyer expectations and agent expectations. We flip that. Agent expectations is at the top. And you say, okay, great. It looks like we're going to go see some property. Last thing is I want to review this one page with you. And at the top, it says everything that I'm promising you. I promise to keep you informed. I promise to talk to the lender. I promise to walk you through the escrow process. I promise to be available from 9 to 7 p.m., 5 days a week. By the way, what's the preferred method of contact? Blah, 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 blah. Here's all the things I'm going to do for you. I promise to share Keller Williams pocket inventory with you, da, 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 da. And then at the bottom, it says, and this is what you're agreeing to me, which is that I get to exclusively represent you on your purchase. There's no time frame. There's no start and end date, because sometimes you want to get out of these. We had an agent, this got legal. They did a real buyer broker form for 6 months. And that buyer wanted to see everything. Just dragging this agent around. It backfired. And we had to like ask them to mutually agree to get out of it. And the person was like, no, I'm fine. Let's go see more properties. We're like, we don't want to work with you. We want out of it. So, but once you go through all the things you promised to do, and then you say, I'd like the honor of exclusively representing you on this purchase. By the way, when you buy a house, it's free, for now at least. The seller pays my commission, but I want to work for you. I tell you guys, when you do it that way, they're like, I'll sign that right now. Because they want everything you promised them at the top of that paper. Great, boom, 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 make a copy for you, take a picture, boom, let's go see houses. The how to get them to sign it, or it'll be on the page, but it's basically that, you know, I have the honor of representing you on your purchase. And then it also says something like, you promise to, you know, disclose all material information, right? Because we don't want to do all this and then like 3 months into it, the lender finds out that there's child support you never told us about. So there's some honesty things in there. If you promise to keep appointments and communicate, or if you can't make it, tell me 12, 24 hours ahead. Little things, but not much. But all the things you promise are like this, and then they promise this, but it's that you're the agent, right? Do you guys think you would use that? Yeah. Because there's all the stuff that we know we're going to do for them, but they have no idea, right? The whole escrow process.
And then it also works for, like if they talk to another agent in open house, they'll say, oh, I already have an agent. And they'll say, have you signed anything?
Yes.
And they'll say, yes.
I
They
did
signed
sign
that agreement.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't know what they signed.
They don't know. Yeah, but yeah. Did you sign something? Oh yeah, she signed something.
Yeah. Take a picture, text it to them.
Yeah.
Someone's like, they have a ring in their hand.
Okay. So here's the final assignment. Now this is, I want you to decide right now to be 100% honest. If you are going to start an LP Mama conversation today, raise your hand. Okay, there you go. There you go. There you go. Just do it. And then you'll be like, oh, 4 more.
Yeah.
And then do it every day. Okay, we got 5 rules. We got economic model, we got LP Mama, and you can have 5 of those. And in 6 months, in less than that, but holy cow, if everyone in this room, do your GPS, follow your rules, go talk to everyone about LP Mama, go all the way to the appointment. You guys, it works with sellers. Talk about location. What do you think your house is worth? How soon do you want to sell? If you had to put a sign in the front yard tomorrow, who would you call? Right? Mortgage, you can, you know, what are you going to buy next? How's that going to happen? Great. Let's go have a listing appointment. LP Mama works for both, not just buyers. You guys good? That was fun.
Awesome. Let's give them